Hi guys, let's have a look at how we change tools in Melodyne using the JAWS scripts, along with how we edit the values of those tools and turn on the speaking of values as we move from blob to blob. So for your information, we use virtually the default keymap that comes with Melodyne 5 with about 2 or 3 extra keystrokes on top, and that's just to allow us to use the ARA versions and the plugin versions where conflicts are present. But apart from that, it is virtually the default keymap that comes with Melodyne 5. So the first keystroke I want to show you is number 1 on the numbers row. 1 presses the main tool.
Main tool selected.
And that is the tool that will be used most of the time. 2 presses and 3 presses of number 1 are not supported. They're for the scroll tool and the zoom tool, but I'll do it.
Scroll tool not supported. Zoom tool not supported.
Okay, so they're not supported. Number 2, 1 press is the pitch tool.
Pitch tool selected.
2 presses is the pitch modulation tool.
Pitch modulation tool selected.
And 3 presses is the pitch drift tool.
Pitch drift tool selected.
Okay. Number 3 is the formant tool.
Formant tool selected.
No multi-presses on that. Number 4 is the amplitude tool.
Amplitude tool selected.
No multi-presses on that. Number 5.
Timing tool selected.
So timing tool, 2 presses.
Time handle tool selected.
Time handle tool and 3 presses.
Attack speed tool selected.
Is the attack speed tool. We press 6 for the note separation tool.
Note separation tool selected.
Press twice for the separate type tool.
Note separate type tool selected.
Press 7 for the fade tool.
Fade tool selected.
And finally press 8 for the sibilant tool.
Sibilant tool selected.
So we press number 1 for the main tool.
Main tool selected.
If you want to know what tool selected at any given time, you can press F1.
Selected tool colon main tool.
And it tells us. And you know, basically you just switch from tool to tool to do the edits you want. But first we need something selected. So let me do that. I'll just go to a blob and select it.
11. 7. Transport. Transport cursor moved to current position. Selecting a blob. Please wait. ...
Okay, so I've got this blob selected. We can press Control and Enter to read that note.
Note colon E4.
So it's E4, Control Shift Enter to read the sense value.
Sense colon -4 CT.
And it's -4. To change the pitch, we press Control up.
F4.
F4, if we audition it. And again.
F number 4.
Down and down, Control down arrow to move it down.
F4. E4.
Okay, so we're back to E4. To change the sense, we use Control Shift up and down.
-3 CT. -2 CT. -1 CT. 0 CT. +7 CT. +1 CT. 0 CT.
Okay, so we're at 0 now. So if we read the values.
Note colon E4. Sense colon 0 CT.
So E4 and 0 CT. If you want to manually type in a value, you can press Control Enter for the first value twice.
Note, edit note page dialog. Enter a new value for the selected note edit.
Okay, so I'm going to change that to F4. I've just typed in F4.
4. Enter. Untitled star. Done. Changed E4 to F4.
Okay, so now when we press Control and Enter.
Note colon F4.
It's now an F4. So you can do that. So it's double press of Control and Enter to change the first value, which is the pitch. If you want to change the sense, we press Control Shift Enter twice.
Sense. Edit sense. Dialog. Enter a new sense amount for the selected note edit.
Okay, I'm going to put -10.
0. Enter. Untitled star. Done. Change 0 CT to -10.
Okay, so when we query that now.
Sense colon -10 CT.
So it's -10. So it's pretty easy just to do that. So just to summarize, you press Control and Enter to read a value, Control Shift Enter to read the sense value. You press Control up and down to change the value, or Control Shift up and down to change the sense value. So for some of these tools, there's only one value available to you. So we'll show you the formant tool. So I'm going to go to that now.
Formant tool selected.
So when we press Control and Enter on this blob now,
value colon 0 CT.
It tells us 0 CT. I'm going to change that Control up arrow.
+100 CT. +200 CT.
Okay. And we'll audition it. Keep going.
+700 CT.
Okay, we'll go down.
+100 CT. 0 CT.
And we're back to where we was at 0. If we wanted to change it to a value of say 50, we would just do the same as we did with the pitch, control and enter twice.
Value, edit value dialog. Enter a new value, edit.
I'm going to type 50, press enter.
0, enter, untitled star. Done, change 0 CT to 50.
And control and enter now.
Value colon, plus 50 CT.
Okay, it's 50 CT. If we go to the amplitude tool with 4,
Amplitude tool selected.
query that with control and enter.
Value colon, 0.00 dB.
So that's at 0 dB. Control up arrow to move it up.
Plus 1.00 dB. Plus 6.00 dB.
So we're at plus 6 now, so we'll audition it, might be a bit loud.
Don't want.
We'll go back down.
Plus 0.00 dB.
Don't want.
And we're back to 0. If we try and query the second value with control shift enter,
This tool does not have two value parameters. Please press Ctrl plus Enter to read the current value.
okay, it tells us there's only one value available to you with certain tools, the formant and the amplitude tool, for example. So we'll go back to the main tool,
Main tool selected.
and now I want to show you the automatic speaking. So if we press F2,
Speak pitch, sensor blob info on.
okay, so now we've turned that on. When we left or right arrow through the blobs, we will hear the values of that tool. So as we've got the main tool selected, it'll be the pitch and the sense.
E4 minus 7 CT. F number 4 plus 3 CT. E4 minus 7 CT.
Okay, so one problem there is that the speaking is at the same time as the audio, and you can temporarily turn that off with the letter A.
Monitor when editing blobs on /off.
Okay, so it says on off because there's no way we can say it's on or off. There's no kind of thing for us to get that information, but it's pretty straightforward. If you hear it, it's it's on. If you don't hear it, it's off. So now when we right arrow,
E4 minus 7 CT. D number 4 minus 23 CT. E4 minus 11 CT.
okay, it's reading the values to us. So that's a good way you can kind of scan some certain blobs and get an idea of how flat they are or whatever. So we can turn the monitoring back on with A.
Monitor when editing blobs on /off. D4 minus E4 plus 8 CT. E4 minus 3 CT.
Okay, so when we change tools, so we'll go to the amplitude tool.
Amplitude tool selected.
Okay, when we do it now, it will read the amplitude.
0.00 dB. 0.00 dB. 0.00 dB. 0.00 dB.
Okay, so none of these are being changed.
0.00 dB.
So it will affect things, but we'll just turn a few up.
Plus 2.0000. Plus 6.00 dB.
Okay, so as we left arrow now,
0.00 dB. 0.00 dB. 0.00 dB. Plus 2.00 dB.
so that one's plus 2. If we go back to the other one,
0.0 plus 6.00 dB. 0.0 plus 6.00 dB.
that's plus 6.
Plus 1. 0.00 dB.
And we've turned it down to 0. So again, to summarize with that, we can turn on the speaking of the value with F2, and if we toggle the monitoring with A, we can hear those values being spoken a bit more clearly. Maybe you don't need that, but it's just an option if we want. So we'll turn the auto speaking off.
Speak pitch, sensor blob info off.
Okay, and now we're back just going through the blobs.
I just don't know.
And again, query that.
Value colon 0.00 dB. This tool does not have two value parameters. Please press
Okay.
Ctrl plus Enter to read the current value.
So we get that message. We'll go to, say, the modulation tool.
Pitch modulation tool selected. Value colon 100.0%.
That's at 100. We'll put it down to 0.
50.0%. 0.0%.
Audition it.
No.
Okay, so we can hear that being changed. So very simple to go through, changing tools, editing the values, and being on top of the edits you need.